Going good with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, Corona boring, but apart from that, it's fine.
Yeah, no joke, man. Apparently you guys are handling a little bit better than us, right? The United States.
Yeah, at least from what I can read in the news, it seems like that.
It's
Yeah,
not really saying a lot, though, that they're handling it better than us. I mean, practically everybody in the world has handled it better, except maybe the UK. But
yeah. It seems to be the news we get over here regarding it, and I don't want to whatever, but I mean, obviously, it's affected everything, especially with like playing live shows and this, that, and the other. I mean, dude, that had to. My ex bandmates, that were touring and putting out records, they're stuck. They got unemployment for a while and, a good amount of cash, but now that's ended. And it seems like they're just letting everything burn. Just kind of, it's pretty crazy, but it's sad. And I think we need more than anything live music right now to bring people together,
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like struggling with motivation these days, not just musicians, but kind of everyone, since everything is so weird.
right? I mean, it's definitely tough to find well, motivation, but I mean creativity I think is at a peak for artists, in my opinion. Not being able to go out and play shows, yeah, that is super unfortunate for the people not to be able to get together, and just feel and vibe out. I think that would bring people together more than anything. I mean, that brings everybody together, but it's been rough, man. So getting together with your new project, Enigma Experience, man. You seem super geeked about it. I've been listening to the couple tracks. I dig the new one a lot. The Zone, I think it's called. Yeah. Dig it a lot, man. Do you wanna what's it like getting back together with Peso?
Oh, it's fun. I mean, we've known each other for almost 20 years, so
Right.
It's always fun to play with him. We have like a very special musical connection, I would say, and we always kind of know where we are and how to do if one of us do like goes in one direction, and then we can follow each other really well. No, so it's very fun. Of course, he's an amazing drummer, and sometimes he has a bit of issues with his person. How would you call it? His mind. But no, he seems to be better now. Also, like the last maybe half a year or so. I mean, when we recorded the album, he had a lot of ups and downs. I mean, some days in the studio he said like, "Yeah, I'm coming down in the morning," but he shows up at 4 in the afternoon. So yeah, he's kind of, he has periods where he struggles with different like things, I guess, like depression or obsession. What do you call it? Compulsive behaviors.
OCD, obsessive compulsive, kind of.
Yeah,
or...
I mean, I'm not gonna diagnose him here, but
right.
There are some problems that he has, and goes up and down, but I think that now he's kind of found a way to move forward this year. So no, but it's really fun to play with him again. I mean, we haven't really rehearsed, we recorded the songs. Yeah, the drums, we recorded them 2 years ago. It took a while to finish this record, but yeah, and then I just sent him the songs, like ideas for the songs, and told him, "Hey man, listen to this, and then let's go down to the studio and record something." And then he comes down to the studio, and like I told you, some days he didn't really come down until late, but at least he showed up most of the times. And then he was like, "Yeah, I didn't really listen to the songs you sent me. Maybe we can listen a bit now before I record."
Oh man.
So we just, went on 100% feeling in the moment,
Sure. And that, I mean, I can't. I mean, obviously, I don't know the history as well. You know, being here in the States, we don't get the gossip. You know what I'm saying? Like the band gossip, like the chatter. You know what I'm saying? So, I remember the first show at Cactus in Milwaukee that y'all did. You had a younger cat on the drums for that tour. I think it was like 2013, something like that.
Yeah, we had Poncho. Yeah, he moved on to Blues Pills. He was. Yeah, I think he was 19 or 20 or something. He was not allowed to be in all the clubs on the tour.
That's right. I remember you guys mentioning that on stage. And he's like, the young cat over here. That's right. And oh man,
that was hilarious. I mean, some places like the doorman would be like checking the IDs, even of the band, you know, before the night open, which is really weird for a Swedish. In Sweden, they never really check the persons in the band, you know. And then he was like, "What? You're not allowed in here." It's like, "Yeah, but I play in the band."
That's insane. Normally, they don't really do that here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Normally, it's isn't that odd, Steve? I mean,
it depends what part of the country you're in, really. I mean, you know, I know like in Florida they would do some wonky things sometimes too, and I mean, I'm sure if you get into like parts of the deep South, I can only imagine what it would be like. Especially since Texas is a bit of a part of the circuit too. I could see there being like some screwy stuff there, depending upon what region of Texas you're in. In fact, there was like that one border transport, if I'm not mistaken, where they busted like a bunch of people, like Willie Nelson and some other cats, as they were like crossing over with cannabis and what have you.
Fiona Apple.
Yeah. I mean, like some pretty big people to boot.
Yeah, literally locking them up. Dango, literally locking these people up for putting them in stripes, like old school. You know,
I mean, it was like, yeah, they like brought Willie Nelson into the court over the charges, and I think like the judge told him they would let him go if he just sang a song or something like that.
No joke. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's just gross overlord type behavior. You know what I mean? That's like some crazy 15 Nero. I could see Nero, like Roman, you know, no, just Rome is burning, but screw it. I'm gonna bust out my fiddle right now. You know, and some goofy nonsense.
I mean, we had like, cause I was in Daytona Beach, Florida, which I mean, you know, it had a reputation for being a party town back in the 90s when they still had like the spring break stuff there from MTV, but they totally cracked down on it. I mean, it got to the point where there was like almost no scene because they'd recruit these like, you know, what would Jesus do kids from the local high schools, and they'd send them in to like try to buy beer from these clubs and what have you when they were underage, and then they'd come back and slap all these fines on the clubs and whatnot, and you know, you had nowhere to even play after that. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it can be rough, man. And I think was that your first tour to the States too? Because I remember seeing. No,
but it was the first in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I remember that.
In Milwaukee. Now we did I think 2011 was the first time we were in the States. July 2011, when it was a heat wave in the country. So like the air conditions barely managed to handle the heat.
Right.
It was really hot shows.
Right.
Oh man,
That was crazy.
Dude, I saw a show with High on Fire in Orlando, Florida that was like just this little dive bar. It had no AC, right? Okay, this is in like the middle of the summer. I mean, it must have been like 110 degrees or something like that. I mean, I was shocked that the drummer didn't pass out. I mean, they were like literally bringing him like those jugs like you put on water coolers and stuff. I mean, he had like one of them sitting right next to his kid. I mean, in between songs, I mean, he's like just dousing himself in water, gobbling it down. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
Even seeing High on Fire in a small club, that hurts. I remember seeing them on their first tour and just it hurt. I had to leave. I remember physically it was painful in such a small club. My chest hurt. It was
yeah, they really were
turning up so
they were
loud,
intense, man.
Yeah, for sure. But well, actually, let me start with this. With Maurice, how did that all end up working out with? I read something about where you guys were hanging out at a show or whatever, and I don't know if you walked up to him or something, you know, or I don't know. You want to tell a little bit of the backstory?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the long backstory is that I mean, the whole recording process. First, like 1 year earlier, I had like we had recorded like all the drums and almost all guitars and the bass. And then I had a friend who was supposed to sing from the start, a good friend of mine, but he was like, this is not really actually, so I think I got to pass. And then I didn't know what to do with the vocal. So the whole project kind of came to a halt, and I did just struggle with thinking like, what should I do now, and who should I ask, or what's going to happen with this now? And then time just passed, and I thought of other things, and I didn't, you know, I moved the house and did things, and then I always had in the back of my head, what should I do with the Enigma record? What? I hope that someone is just gonna turn up, you know, like a sign from the God of Rock and Roll. Right. But this never happened. So then we had already decided to tour with Truckfighters again, because I mean I started recording this during the hiatus of Truckfighters in 2018, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna sing myself. I haven't found anyone. So it took me 3 or 4 months, you know, to all practice my voice a bit,
right, hone it,
writing the vocal melodies and the lyrics, and then recording it. And so I was like almost done with the album. Really, like I think I had recorded all the tracks except one, but I didn't manage to finish it before the Truckfighters touring started again. And then I didn't have time to do so much about that for a while. So we did a big tour in October with Truckfighters, and then in November we did just a weekend. So we came to Oslo in Norway, and there Maurice was singing in the first band that opened the night. And so I heard first I heard from the backstage, like, whoa, it sounds really good, the voice down there. I had to go down and watch the band. So then I watched the show, and I was really, really impressed, because I think that he has a really good voice, really unique voice. These days, at least, not many sing like that. It's more like, you know, 90s style, I would call it, mixed with 70s, 80s vibes, almost. So I was just, whoa, who is this guy? Because, I mean, I had no idea, and he's not like famous for any other project he's done. So I just talked to him after the show. I was like, would you like to, what are you doing? Are you busy with stuff, you know? And we exchanged contacts, and then I sent him a few songs, and I still wasn't sure if I wanted to take a guy I didn't know into the band and these things. But then he just recorded without telling me he would do it, on top of one of the things I sent him just to listen to, and sent it back. And I was like, whoa, yeah, this is the guy, because it was so fucking good, I think. So and then it turns out that he's also a really nice guy, so that was good.
Win-win, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. What year was that then? Or it was during the hiatus, so in 2018?
No, this was last year. I mean, I started to record in the spring of 2018.
Okay.
And then it was almost 1 year, at least 10 months, when I had this break where I didn't really know what to do with the vocal. And then in the end of spring 2019, I started singing myself and recorded like May, June, July. I was working with my own vocal. And then, when I found Maurice, I was like, let's put my vocal as backing vocal. So we kind of, the vocals kind of evolved in that way, because I kept maybe 60-70% of my voice, and he put like one harmony above as the lead. So it's a lot more like
a scratch track. Your voice like a scratch, almost like a.
No, it's more like backing vocal now, because it's mixed a bit lower. But it's a lot of places on the album has 2 harmonies, quite obvious. Okay. So it's become almost like not that obviously mixed as Alice in Chains, but you can feel the vibe somewhere. That it's totally. Like two quite clearly mixed voices, some parts.
Well, I'm eager to hear the rest of the record, because you know what I'm saying. Because that dynamic of like Cantrell and Lane, you know what I mean. it's just like, oh, I mean, you cannot beat that. That's a great dynamic.
November 13th, then you can hear it all.
November 13th. It's gonna be rad. I mean, I don't know what you're hearing. I meant to ask you this too. I'm getting word. Okay, so dates for shows. I knew everything was gonna get canceled. I had some information a couple weeks before they shut it all down over here. But I was worried that information was going to panic the people here in America so much so. Like, it was basically my a loved one who works in sports entertainment had let me know, hey, this, basketball isn't going to happen, or they're not going to cancel the season, but they're going to do NBA games with no fans. And this is literally like 2.5 weeks before they even talked about a shutdown kind of thing, and before they canceled all sports essentially. And I immediately thought, oh my, this is gonna panic. Like this news alone will freak people out, because in a mind virus, in my opinion, is more deadly and travels faster than this COVID, whatever. It's just worse, in my opinion, for the people. This isn't like some plague, I don't want to get into, there's so much.
The conspiracy thing. No, but I think that it's what I think is most interesting if you talk about the virus is that at least in Sweden it's really different, because here you can go to IKEA and it can be 1,000 people in there, but no shows are allowed and no sports with any fans,
Yeah, there's to take away. This is the thing. All right, this conspiracies aside, if you just look at this from a historical aspect, if we go back and look, I mean, Rome, for example, and I don't want to compare the two too much, but the contrast is a little bit similar here, where take away their bread and circus, right? And that's the first thing I thought of, and I was like, are you kidding? Really? No sports. Okay. Like, I'm not some giant sports guy, rock. That went away when I picked up a guitar at, age 13. But it's still in my blood, being, basketball and baseball. And so I can't really, you take away people's, their entertainment, and they're going to hyper focus on something else. And then, and look,
people are stupid. That's just how it is,
yes,
right?
Thank you. Yeah, this is true. The masses are retarded. So it's just the way it is. Yeah, they freak out about words, they freak out about everything. But yeah, getting back to it, I guess, touching on Fuzzorama a little bit. Now, I've never been exactly clear. Are you running the label? I know it's a silly question. Is it you or is it Ozo? I mean, like, do you want to give me a little bit of background?
We are running it together.
That's what I always thought. Okay. So how's that going? I'm curious to know with this, with everybody being locked down. This is something I was thinking about.
Well, I mean, it's not going so bad as we thought, because we still sell records and merch in the web shop, and we have all the streamings still, of course, maybe more streamings even.
Exactly.
I mean, even if streams generate an insane low amount of money per stream, if you have a whole little label, of course it's gonna be a bit of money coming in.
Sure.
So no, it's going less bad than I feared it would actually.
That's good. That's great. Then you guys got the new Witch Rider coming out. People are freaking out about that too.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, they are. Trust me. My bandmate, the front man of our Flying Medusa, he's been flipping out about that, DeVille, anything. He's just obsessed with Witch Rider though. And you guys too. I turned him on and he was like flipping out. I forced him to the show. It's like, you guys
Asteroid, man. Asteroid.
Asteroid.
Love Asteroid.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, obviously we don't release things we don't like. So.
Thank you. All right. Amen.
Did you guys ever, by the way, did you guys ever get the first Asteroid album out in vinyl?
No, we wanted to, but they wanted to do new artwork and remix it at the band, and then we never got any new mix or new artwork from them.
Oh man, yeah, I've really been craving that one on vinyl. I mean, the second one alone is just unbelievable on vinyl.
Yeah, that record. Oh,
yeah, that pressing was just incredible.
I remember getting that, buying it on iTunes, you know what I mean, and just being and then buying every, the other record, one, and just being like, I need more, keep feeding me, you know.
And then after how many years was it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I was so excited when I heard they were coming back for the third album.
It
was like, what, 6 or 7 or something like that?
6, I mean, we tried there also 6 years now.
They'd like disbanded or something for a while, hadn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they have never been a really active band. I mean, they barely do shows, so they kind of always disbanded, and then they have moments where they do stuff, like, you know.
Hey, if you guys all get along and you still are in contact and what have you, just doing other stuff. Why put an axe at it unless something, awful happened, or not awful, but you know how band breakups are, being in bands for years. So.
It's like a relationship.
You know it.
As close you can be without considering, for being the same sex.
Yeah.
Without being gay,
you might as well. Yeah, you're married to them. That's a fact. Yep. I guess circling back just a little bit to the shows and when they're going to start back up again. What I'm hearing is obviously late 2021, but I'm guessing it's going to be 2022 before. And
in the States it seems worse than here, for sure. And here, I mean, we had a little bit of increase in Europe now after summer, so yeah, people here are afraid that they're not gonna open up until like summer or next fall, and before everybody was sure it would be somewhere in spring,
right?
So
yeah, because that's also getting into the festival season too, right?
Yeah. It's so strange. I mean, we have a little festival ourselves. We only did one edition so far, and we were supposed to have the second one now in November, and we announced it in March after Corona had just arrived. But then we were like, but in the end of November, come on, that's like 6 months from now. There's no way it's gonna be problems then. But
exactly, yeah.
And now we're like, I wonder if we can do it next year.
Man, and I'm curious to know too. Like here, I was thinking about that too. Clubs are, you can imagine, it's just wreaked havoc. I mean, with bars, most
restaurants.
clubs.
I mean, all that stuff is just being decimated.
It is gone. It's the saddest thing in the world, man. It is literally just like. It's gone. The service industry which is restaurants and bars and everything over here. It's the small business like that has anything to do with people, gathering. It's just a wrap.
Yeah, of course. I mean, probably we have more like government subventions to help the companies here than you have, since USA is supposed to not have a government that does things.
Yeah, they meddle
that's the whole point
WWF
of not paying
wrestling.
tax. Then the government can't really do so much. But even here, I mean, we have a lot of bankruptcies and musicians having problems, of course, and clubs struggling. But I think these subventions and aid from the state has actually helped a lot, because I thought it would be more bankruptcies than it's been.
Right. And I'm curious, what do you guys pay tax wise? Like, isn't it much higher than obviously here, I mean, we have income tax on our checks and we have sales tax, but it doesn't add up to anywhere near what you guys.
If you look at what do you call that in English? The total tax pressure or whatever.
That's fine. Yeah,
when you like gather all the taxes together, Sweden is around 50%, I think. Because we have the tax on the salary, and of course the employer has to pay tax as well. And then we have the value added tax, the sales tax. We have 25%.
Damn.
Whereas in USA, the sales tax is between 6 and 12 or something.
Five it fluctuates to the states.
0 actually in some states.
Yeah, like Florida had no sales tax and a lot of stuff. So
Oregon doesn't. Yeah.
But you don't have tax on gas at all. For example.
Again, it depends on the state.
Yeah, I mean,
there is like a universal tax on gas in the country to help theoretically pay for the highways. Not that they actually get worked on, really, but
No, I have to say that I don't mean to be rude and criticize your country, but the last
we like criticizing.
We do it all the time.
The last tour we did now in the States, 27. No, this year, in February this year. The roads were like the worst roads we ever driven on in the USA.
Yeah. I bet you've never even been to West Virginia either, man. I could take you on roads that you would probably have nightmares about for the rest of your life.
Maybe that's why all of you need like a big truck with all-wheel drive or whatever you call it.
Yeah. No, where I live, you almost have to have something like that. I mean, half of the stuff is still like gravel and dirt roads and crazy stuff like that.
Right.
No, but it's weird. I mean, as I see it, I mean, from my perspective, when I go to the States, the most obvious thing, if you look at, how the society is, it's that it's so divided. Some areas are so insanely rich, and some areas are really, really worn down and poor. So I think that's... of course, every country has some differences, but I think in the States it's really bad in that way.
Yeah, and especially with the media trying to get us to fight with they're literally trying to start a race war, and it's black versus white, literally. I mean, like colored people of color versus anybody whiter skin. We're like demonized for anything, and a headline will read, this is how bad it's gotten. I'm sure you've seen it, but I mean, it'll be like, black man shot by white police officer. In tragic blah, blah, blah. And then you read the entire article, and it turns out like the criminal, the black man that was shot, took the cop's gun and ran off or did something to deserve anybody's going to get shot, you know what I mean, and then all of a sudden that's how it's reported. And the way people's, short attention span is with social media, headlines, this 24-hour news cycle, all of these things, it's an immediate reaction as an emotional reaction, and some of it warranted, some of it totally, unwarranted. And all of a sudden the media is just fanning the flames, race war, and it's basically it's been a mass exodus to the point of like all the stand-up comics that are in movies and famous podcast, all these people are moving. Well, they're all moving to Austin, which I moved out of Austin in 2005, and that was already getting to LA, you know what I mean, to like packed in, and it's just like, too hip. Exactly. It lost its grit and its cool, you know what I mean, like small town, small city vibe. It just lost it, and it was just like, this feels gross. There's celebrities everywhere, you know what I mean. There'd always been movies shot there and stuff like that, but it was low key. Now it's just exploded. But LA is dead. There's literally like everything's like boarded up. No joke. They're just looking for anything to start they're flying people in, dude, to protest and it's insane. When we had in Kenosha, which is just north of Chicago, just south of Milwaukee, 5 days of lighting the city on fire and just craziness. They ended up arresting a decent amount of people, and they were from Seattle all the way across the country. You know what I mean? Like, how did you get here? So that's the kind of nonsense we're dealing with, where they're literally bringing in, like, no, rent a protester, you know what I'm saying, type situations.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's
Create
gross.
some anarchy when you can.
Yeah. Putting pallets of bricks out. Literally putting pallets of bricks out to smash what.
But isn't it more like the cause behind it that's the problem? And maybe not the biggest problem is that people go there and do some riot, because I mean, isn't it the cause why they actually get that ID? That's the bigger problem.
Here's the thing is it starts out as a positive thing. Like, the movement like Black Lives Matter, for example, is a straight up, like, it started out with good intentions. Do you know what I mean? And it was, rather legitimate, in my opinion, and grassroots, so to speak, organic, I guess. I hate that word. It's abused. But, it was. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been about 2012, I think. That was when the Trayvon Martin stuff had really gotten going. More like the Antifa stuff, I mean, honestly. And I mean, again, all of the stuff with that is really sketchy because, I mean, when you look at these guys getting arrested for that, they're almost all these, lily white kids from like the suburbs and what have you, running around in black ski masks and that type of thing. It's like there's not even, a lot of people of color participating in, the actual violence. I mean, they're trying to do many of the actual peaceful protests. I mean, and then on top of that, I mean, you have a lot of these right-wing groups like the Proud Boys. Was it the Bugalo Boys? What are the? It
was Proud Boys and Patriot Prayer, but they're like white supremacist kind of groups.
Yeah, I read today that there was some people arrested that was plotting to kidnap
the governor of Michigan.
Yeah.
That's a load of garbage, because they put a gag order on that immediately, so nobody can. They're not allowed to even talk about it, which automatically that's a red flag right there. As this is fake, because the election's coming in less like 20 something days. So,
but this is really, though, just a time-honored tradition of how this kind of stuff goes on in this country. I mean, you end up with all of these agent provocateurs that effectively try to decimate these movements that are legitimate. I mean, one of the big ones was, the 68 Democratic Convention, where they had that huge riot in Chicago and what have you. It's really famous. And after years of investigation, it came out that I believe 1 out of every 4 of the rioters was either like an undercover cop or a military intelligence officer or something to that effect. So, yeah, I imagine probably 20 or 30 years from now, we'll be hearing the same thing about what we're currently witnessing.
I don't even know what they're, we can get that. And they hate the crazy thing is that people hate Donald Trump so much here. And I understand he's.
I really want to get down to it's like people hate Donald Trump because he forces them to accept just how ugly this country really is. I mean, they're used to the Obama years where it's like, the United States could go out and bomb like a children's hospital in Afghanistan or something like that. And I mean, he could come on and give you a speech and really make you feel that it was about freedom and democracy. Yeah. Whereas Trump, like, you actually have to confront the horror of it full on, which isn't something a lot of people want to do.
They want to be lied to in a very smooth way. You know what I mean? They can't handle harsh, and it's like, no, lie to me. Just be a little bit more, dignified. Yeah. And when you lie to me, just.
And that's what really disgusts me about it. When I hear all the ranting about Trump, it's like you're basically just saying, I just don't want to face the truth. Just give me another stuffed suit politician up there so I can feel good about it again.
Are you saying that Trump is talking the truth?
Well, I mean, not saying the Trump
no
per se is saying the truth. I'm saying the Trump personifies the ugly reality
are not
of the
Trump
United
supporters,
States.
Man. No, I don't support any of it. I'm not voting it too much, man. So Truckfighters is on total hiatus right now, or...
No, not really. It's just we're not really active, but it's not like... No, I mean, we were supposed to do some shows this year, but Corona effectively canceled those plans.
Okay.
We're just not as active as we used to be, I would say.
We were grinding, after Universe, and y'all were at.
Between 2006 and maybe 2007. 2006, I think we did like 40 shows. 2007, we did maybe 90. And so from 2007 to 2017, that's 10 years. Then we did, I think, between 65 and 110 shows per year. And on top of that, of course, you have all the traveling days. Ooh. So it was quite intense for a long time.
That'll wear you out. I really appreciate you doing this, man. Seriously. Thank you for just hanging out.
It's always fun to talk a little bit.
Man, for real. and it's nice to connect. So why don't you plug Enigma Experience? Plug the dates and all that. Give us the websites, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Give us everything you can, and I'll put the links in. You know what I'm saying? I'll put the links in all of this stuff for you.
All right. Hello, you're listening to the Dango, the one and only. But now I have two bands suddenly. And my new band is called Enigma Experience. And the album is out on November 13th. Is that a good enough pronunciation?
Yeah.
So,
2020.
Right now, you can listen to two singles that's out on all digital platforms. Listen to The Zone, 7 minutes of pure, fuzzy, progressive metal music. And listen to Lone Wolf, a more classic stoner rock song with amazing fuzz guitars and energetic heavy vocals. Do it now.
That'll be good, dude. I'll chop that one up nice. A little bit of gear real quick, unless you got to go.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Just sitting here.
Awesome. A little bit of gear talk. What do you... Okay, this is funny. I remember when y'all had to fly from... I don't know where you fled, of Chicago after that Milwaukee show, because we talked you into coming here to Milwaukee, and then y'all left right away and flew to California. I think it was to do the Mesa Boogie.
Yeah, I have to think now. Did we fly to California? Maybe we did.
Y'all bought me a pizza the next time you came to Cactus Club. I remember that. I was like, what? You're like, no, there's all pizzas for you. I was like, oh, okay, because everybody was all hungry. You're like, nope, this is for Barsky. It's like, okay. Thanks, guys.
I don't remember so much from the tour in 20. What was it? 13?
13. Yep.
I don't remember where we went after that show, but I can look it up on the website.
Straight to California. Shows. I remember that. Yeah, and then I remember you guys came back the next time, and you had a Mesa Boogie endorsement. That's awesome. So what cabs are you playing out of? Or not cabs? Give me a little bit of a rundown of what.
Okay, so in Europe, when I have all my own gear, then I do a double Mesa Boogie Lone Star setup.
Nice.
Two heads, and then the heads I run them simultaneously. There's not like any A/B switch or anything like that. It's both are on. I have a bit different settings. One is a bit more crunch, and the other is more clean with more headroom for when my fuzz kicks in, it gets more power. And so one of the amps runs my top cabinets, which are open back 4x10 cabinets.
Love the open back.
And then I have in the bottom, I have two 4x12s.
Enclosed?
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
So it's like a double stack setup. That's my standard setup at home. And I always try to get two amps when we are flying around as well, because I think it makes it really fat and nice. And also, if one breaks down, at least you have one sounding.
Right. You don't have to run with backline garbage at like fests. But go ahead.
Yeah. So no, that's like amp wise. It's Mesa Boogie Lone Star. I've been using that for quite a long time now. I think I had my European rig before 2013, or maybe around 2013. Don't remember. 2014. Yeah.
Because I don't think you had it the first No, because
Not
I
the
remember.
first, yeah.
I can't remember what you were running.
High watt. I used to play high watt custom.
That's right, a high watt. Okay.
I would say that they sound fairly similar to the Lone Star. They are both like vintage sounding amps, just plain good sound. But the Lone Star is really, really smart because it has a lot of modern options. So you can choose like the wattage, and you have this, what do you call the tweed setting.
Yeah, that's a rad setting.
So now, I mean, when we're not playing now, I took one of my amps home and 2 cabinets. So I'm playing on the same amp that I do like for shows in my living room.
Nice.
But I just switch all the settings down so I get the crunchy sound really low in the volume, so I can actually play it, and then my neighbors are not complaining. So that's really, really good with this amp, and it's really practical because some small stages you want to have the crunch, but you cannot really play so loud. Right. So with this amp, I never have the problem that sound engineers is like, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down, which I used to have all the time, because here I can get good sound at so many different volume levels instead of just one super loud level, like the most of the amps, old school amps. So that's really nice. And of course, I mean, pedal wise, nowadays I have a custom made Dango Unleashed pedal for my fuzzy sound.
Nice.
Which is it's kind of a clone of an old Russian big muff.
Yeah.
But a bit thicker cabling, so it doesn't break down as often.
Sweet.
And then I have various other pedals, but I don't use them all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's your standard, like, what would be your, obviously, the clone, what, is that out, or is it just your custom, you got a couple of those, and that's it, you can't get them?
No, you can't get them, but
okay, nice.
I've been discussing a bit with the guy who made them, if we can do more and sell them, because people ask me once in a while.
Your tone is, dude, it's one of a kind. I know immediately when I hear you.
It's also in the fingers, in the mind, you know.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying your tone is, very distinguishable.
And then, the last 10 years or so, more, 12, 13 years, I've been playing Gibson SG-GT guitars, mostly.
Okay.
I still have some Rickenbackers, of course. I cannot really sell my old guitars, so.
I know that feeling.
I think I have 14 guitars right now.
Hey, I totally understand, man.
It's hard. I mean, the only time you can sell a guitar is like if you buy it and then you sell it within 3 months.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Because you can't, once you get that bond, it's like a weird, it's super weird.
I mean, I have guitars that I haven't taken up with a case for like 2 years maybe. And it's like, maybe I should sell this. I haven't used it right. And then, of course, I take it out and I play it. And then it's like, nah, I'm not going to sell this.
Yeah, it's a weird, sick relationship. You know what I mean?
Because I also feel a bit bad for all these nice instruments that are almost never used. You know?
Right.
I'm playing maybe 1, 2, 3. Regularly, I play, let's say, 5 guitars if I count in my live guitars as well. I have one Rickenbacker in my living room, which is a half acoustic, so it's nice if I want to play without amp, but I don't want to play as loud as a real acoustic.
Sure.
Of course, I have my real acoustic as well. I have always have one Gibson SG-GT around in the house. And now I actually bought a new guitar last week. First guitar purchase in years.
Oh, nice,
it's like
dude.
Some kind of Japanese SG version from the 70s that I found so cheap.
Dude, that looks dope.
I have to buy it.
That's rad with the single coil.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's I haven't really tried it with an amp.
How's the neck weight? Did you strap it up yet or no?
Yeah, it's good balance. It's better than a normal SG.
I was about to say those drove me crazy. I couldn't play the SG because of that.
But that's why I have the SG-GT is much better because it has this extra weight.
The weight, yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Perfectly balanced, actually.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that drove me. I had a Carina. I went through multiple SGs, and I was just like, nope. still doing it. Like, I need a heavier body. Like, this is dry because I came from a Les Paul, and I'm just like, nah, I can't. This is just too. You know what I mean? It's just.
It's annoying. I think it's too.
So annoying. But really, again, I really appreciate it, man, and. Yeah,
I even managed to stand some political and conspiracy
I know.
thoughts.
I didn't want to, dude. I didn't want to. I wasn't gonna drag you in, but it just kind of. It's weird how it all just ties together, like because you can't not. You know what I mean? And they're always over here. The people are always going. Well, Sweden can. You know what I'm saying? Sweden is always a focal point.
That's so funny because here we read like, oh, Donald Trump says that we're doing better. And look how they're doing in Sweden. They have so much problems now. We're like, what? And you know, a few years ago, when it was this big deal about gang criminality in Sweden, it's like, what the fuck? Or have you been to like Chicago?
Yeah, dude. Seriously. You drive 90 miles south of me, and they call it Chirac. You know what I'm saying? Literally.
And I remember there was this, wasn't it Trump who said like, no one is like gonna dare to go to Sweden. And it was this one reporter was like, I'm gonna go to Sweden and see if it's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he goes there to this problematic so-called area. It's like, yeah, okay, we're standing here now.
There's nothing yet.
I don't feel afraid at all, actually. It's like, no.
Compared to our slums, it's a joke, dude. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, they're just pitting people against each other. It's just like a wrestling, professional wrestling. That's all it is. It's a scripted psychodrama, you know?
It's funny sometimes.
It's hilarious.
I mean, it's like you said before, like Trump is actually more like a TV personality in that kind of shows because he's like an entertainer, I guess.
I also think he's in the World Wrestling Federation Hall of Fame, too.
Yeah, he's in, literally. Yep.
Yeah. That explains a lot.
It does. It does. He knows not to break the fourth wall of filming, of cameras. It's crazy. The guy is, But, yeah. Like, the one thing I hate having to defend him, but it's like you guys hate him so much. You're giving your energy. You know what I mean? You're literally you're wasting your energy on hating somebody. It's equivalent. You're obsessed with this, and now you're at so many years of hating somebody so hard in the media every day when that's all they talk about. You're worshiping him essentially. You're literally and that's what gives him the fuel. He feeds off of that. He's an archon, man. He feeds off of that like nobody else, bro.
Interesting theory.
I mean, I don't know. It rings.
I mean, of course, if no one would care about his statements and his stupid quotes, then he wouldn't get any publicity, and his followers wouldn't be like, "Whoa, yeah, look what he said."
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah, and nobody can seem to get past that. Like, critical thinking is the other thing. It's gone, over here. It's like, it's so hard to find. It's like, wait a minute, you every situation that's, whatever, in any situation, you always want to try to don't react emotionally, try not to, do your best and try to take a couple steps back and look at the big picture. It's hard to do.
We had an American drummer for a tour or two. Was it 2 tours maybe? Yeah. And he said like, the biggest difference that I see between like Swedish people and US people is that Swedish people actually use logic when they reason.
Thank you. Thank you. Logos, pathos, it's gone here. But yeah, that is a major difference. Still, and also herd mentality. Oh my goodness. The herd immunity thing over there with you guys. The mask here, people freak out over that. Wait, do you have COVID? You shouldn't probably be out of the house if you do, kind of thing. Like, what else would?
Yeah.
But whatever.
No, I mean that's the way that the Swedish authorities are talking about why we don't have this mask recommendation here is that they claim that it gives people a false sense of security. And if you're ill, you're supposed to be home.
Yep.
That's like the main argumentation here. But I mean, most parts of Europe, they also do like the mask thing, I think now.
They're all, it's like UK is full, like, and Australia is it's awful. It's awful. We're horror stories left and right. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, people can do whatever they want as long as they stick to it and don't complain about the others.
yeah, don't push it on. You know, don't push anything on anybody too hard, and we'll all be okay. But
yeah, listen more to heavy rock music instead of worrying too much.
Amen. Cheers to that, man. Well, we'll let you go, buddy. I really appreciate it again, man.
Fun.
It's been a blast, dude.
Yeah, it's
Cheers.
nice to meet you.
Have a
Man.
good day, and I'm gonna not go to bed now, but not too late.
Cheers, buddy.
Have a good
Thanks
Good
again,
night.
man. I'll be in touch.